It's August 1911. Brick Lane. Dear Rebecca, you travel from Kovna in Lithuania in search of a better life, and you've ended up in the East End of London. Your husband Aaron died, leaving you penniless. You moved into a cold water tenement in Brick Lane, a building that no longer exists. It's July 1932. You are 92 years old. Today they break the door down and find you, dead in your bed. It's July 1978. Brick Lane.
Today is the first day when you are going to lead the first black strike in England.
Altogether, in Tar Hamlet alone, there were 6,000 to 8,000 Bengali people who did not go to war. A white youth started shouting at us. It was racist abuse. Police made no attempt to stop those people from throwing racist abuse, nor did they arrest them. Our lads were arrested, and also a young white anti-racists were arrested, and we feel very unhappy about it. We feel the best course of action is to go and sit down in front of the police station. The sit-down was a successful event in the sense that we asked for those people to be brought back to us by the police, and that was done.
It's 1975. London. Today, Rebecca, I joined the far-left political group Workers' Power. They have hardly any members. It's a bit like a secret society, and I have to choose a party name. I wanted your name, but I think Lipschitz is a bit of a mouthful, so I've chosen Marker. Our main political rival is the Socialist Workers' Party, the SWP, who changed their name from the International Socialists. IS sounds better, don't you think?
Let's just talk about Workers' Power. You were a founding member.
We were expelled from the International Socialists.
Was it a common thing in that 70s period for there to be splits and fusions?
It was more common to have splits than it was to have fusions.
How many were in there?
Ooh, I think probably we had a faction that was about 50 strong, and within a year outside we were down to about 28.
They waited until the workers came out of this brewery, and they were systematically attacked very viciously. If it's a question of self-defense, yes, we got to defend ourselves.
It may be necessary if the police are not prepared to enforce the law as it exists for the black people.
It's happened, exactly 2 o'clock. They're running down the street approximately about 150 or 200 like these youths, all these skinheads, They're swearing, shouting, and throw these stones, break my all windows. And all of a sudden one is coming here. I break my teeth in here. There's the brick. Now we are frightened every Sunday,
What marked that period of 76, 77, 78 was the growth of racism and the National Front. They were a very traditional fascist organisation that was anti-black, anti-Semitic. Tyndall and Webster went right back to being supporters of Hitler and wearing Nazi regalia in their youth. And they had street fighting squads. What the left always tried to do at the time was say no platform for fascists, to prevent the fascists from marching through the communities. We learnt that lesson from Hitler's Nazi party that took control of the streets and then took control of areas, and that was a very important part of fighting fascism, which obviously meant most of the time fighting the police, because the police protected the fascists and always attacked the left to let the fascists through.
The fascist National Front group installed their headquarters around the corner from Brick Lane, the heart of the Bengali community, in a building that no longer exists. It's September 1978, Brick Lane. It's a very hot day. The Anti-Nazi League, a broad coalition of political parties, vicars and trade union leaders, have organised a national march and music carnival in West London.
The people in London learnt that the National Front had decided to call this demonstration through the East End to their new headquarters in Great Eastern Street. And they called it on the same day that the A&L had organised this big carnival going from Hyde Park to Brockwell Park. the awful thing that you had perhaps 40,000 people and they were all marched off to Brockwell Park when there was a demonstration to try and stop the fascists at Brick Lane. The real turning point was the Lewisham demonstration in '77. The SWP organised, along with the far left, to confront them and stop them. There must have been 5,000 people against the National Front march of about a few hundred. It turned into a huge riot. The NF demonstration was just completely dispersed. It was followed by an absolutely ferocious press attack on the SWP. Then they launched the Anti-Nazi League, and when the ANL turn went really deep, they decided to get rid of the squadists. So they were all expelled in, I think, 81. I think the far right today is much smaller and probably much more violent. The far right, as it exists, is tiny but really into terrorism and pro-Nazi, and draws its sort of ideas from, the real extreme US sort of Nazi movement.